Rupa D. Modgil, a fearless cop who exposed rampant corruption within the central prison of Bengaluru. She was punished rather than rewarded. This officer, who exposed VVIP treatment that was allegedly being given to Sasikala and other star prisoners, was shunted unceremoniously to the Traffic and Road Safety Department by the Karnataka government.
Last week, the DIG of prisons, Rupa, had blown the lid off in the irregularities within the Parapana Agrahara jail. In fact, she had filed a report also. Soon after that, in fact, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah had warned her of dire consequences as far as issuing notices are concerned.
The transfer comes even as an inquiry into the allegations in Rupa's report are still underway. An inquiry into allegations of a 2 crore bribe paid to secure preferential treatment for Sasikala in jail. The opposition has called the transfer unfair and irregular and has alleged a conspiracy.
She has been transferred to some other place means. So CM want to give a message to the higher authorities. No officer should come out with fact and figures and honestly they can't work.
I expected last week itself. When this issue came out, I think that this government will going to transfer that DIG.
But rather than offer any explanation, the government has chosen to brazen it out. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says the transfer is an administrative decision and the government doesn't consult the media before making these decisions.
See, ಆಡಳಿತದ ಹಿತದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಅದು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಅವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತ ಅದನ್ನ.
Times Network in fact spoke to Rupa after the transfer order.
I think Honorable CM has already by now told that there would be an inquiry perhaps. I'm not sure. I welcome any inquiry if there's any leakage to media from whose side it was leaked. That is also welcome.
While the timing of the transfer raises eyebrows on the urban debate, we ask, why was the government in such a hurry to transfer Rupa? Is this how the government rewards an honest cop for doing her job? Mirror Now report.
Well, here's a question we're asking this evening. What is the price of honesty in our country? DIG Rupa, incidentally, has a spotless track record. She cleared the civil services exam, ranking 43 in the entire country. She's received the President's Medal for Meritorious Service last year. Her entire record is full of awards and is full of honesty. Is this really a routine transfer? So there's one explanation that it's a routine transfer, like the Chief Minister said. And in his response to the media, he's basically said, for those of you who don't understand Kannada, he said, these sort of things are part of daily administration. We don't have to explain everything to the media. If it's part of daily administration, then where is the story of the fact that she broke rank and spoke to the media, which was the line that the party was taking yesterday? Where did that story come from? Why is it the government can't pick one straight line? Is it normal administrative movement that you're doing? Or is she being punished for speaking to the media? Or the third option, is she being punished for her honesty and for blowing the whistle on what seems to be a terribly deep running rot within your system? We need honest officers to protect our country. If we don't have honest officers, then corruption will rot the entire system inside out. But we also need to make sure that politicians aren't able to shun these honest officers into punishment postings because they were afraid of the truth. Joining us on the show this evening, Ejaz Ilmi, leader of the BJP, Nagaraj Yadav, spokesperson of the Karnataka Congress State Government. Mr. P.S. Pasricha is a retired Director General of Police Maharashtra. We're glad to have him in the studio. Ramakant Gaur, senior lawyer with the Supreme Court. Sujay Kantawala, senior advocate, joining me in Mumbai. I welcome all of you to the conversation. Gentlemen, good evening. I'm going to start with Mr. Nagaraj Yadav. Mr. Nagaraj Yadav, please explain to us the transfer of DIG D Roopa. Was it normal administrative or was it a punishment posting because she spoke to the press? Which one was it?
It's definitely a normal administrative process. As the Chief Minister has said, you really replayed it now, and we stand by that word, and it is just a normal administrative process. There is nothing special in it.
Nothing special. You don't believe that there is a coincidence, perhaps, that this is popping up at the time when she submitted a 4-page report about corruption within the jails?
Of course, there was a discussion. Of course, there was a discussion on this matter. But there is a rules and regulations. Service book is there. The service conduct is there. People have to follow all these things. These are all part of it. But whatever Madam Rupa, DIG, has made allegations against a senior officer, the government has considered it as very serious information, and the government has ordered for an inquiry with a senior retired officer, Vinay Kumar, and the government has not neglected any of the report given by Rupa Madam. And Rupa Madam has been posted in Bangalore, is also one of the good posting, not that she's been transferred on a basis of she being honest. Since she's being honest, we respect her also, we respect the report given, and government will definitely investigate the entire report given by Madam Rupa.
Well, tell me this. Recently, 32 prisoners who were vocal about irregularities within prison were reportedly shifted to another jail in the middle of the night in Karnataka. Is this not true?
No, that may be true, because there was a groups inside itself fighting among themselves. Few groups supporting Satyanarayan Rao, few groups are supporting Rupa Madam, and they're trying to be having violence inside. And this is not a good development inside the prison, because the two officers have got no understanding. And the government cannot keep quiet when the two officers doesn't have an understanding to work together. And the honest officer, Rupa is also honest officer. We don't say no that. But the issue has come here. Why such unpleasant things are happening in the prison, which is not good.
So tell me this, Nagaraj Yadav, after Rupa Madam has submitted her 4-page report on the irregularities inside of prison, if she is transferred in less than a week, isn't the government afraid of sending a...
The minute D Roopa ji has given a report to the government as a DG, it has been taken seriously. The government, the Chief Minister himself holding the home portfolio, has ordered for an inquiry, as an appointed senior retired officer to investigate this matter and give a report within 30 days time, within 7 days to give an interim report. And definitely government is committed to take action against whoever is guilty.
Fair enough.
No officer is been looked after as a special, or somebody else is not a special. For us, the Chief Minister and the government of Karnataka look at all the officers.
Okay, all right, you're not answering my question. Nagaraj Yadav, my question is, if D Roopa submitted a 4-page report on irregularities and corruption in prison and has been transferred in less than 7 days, doesn't that send a negative message to all officers across... You're not even letting me finish my question. To all officers across the state, that if you are honest, you will be transferred.
No.
Couldn't you have reconsidered her transfer, given the nature of the report that she submitted? What was the need and the hurry to transfer her so immediately?
Let me tell you, madam.
Yes.
Let me tell you, madam. She is not transferred just because she is given a report. I definitely respect her integrity. I respect her honesty. She is given a report. The government has taken a serious note about it. Government is completely investigating the matter in a transparent manner. No doubt about it. The people of Karnataka and people of India should be rest assured. The government of Karnataka will uphold the law of the state and law of the country, and the honest and the truth will be exposed to the people very shortly.
All right, Nagaraj Yadav. None of what you're saying is actually giving me any assurance.
With the two officers, which is not good in administration.
Let me, you may also point out, my research team pulled this out and I find it very heartening. Rupa Divakar, or D Roopa, is the first Kannadiga woman IPS officer in the history of Karnataka, from Davanagere and from the entire state. The state should be proud of her. She won, like I said, the President's Medal for Meritorious Service just last year. She's also responsible, incidentally, Mr. Pasricha, she's responsible for pulling, unapproved policemen of VVIP security, for not allowing, politicians to have the kind of, VVIP security that they enjoy without approval. Things like this. So obviously, she might have rubbed some people the wrong way. But do you believe, given the nature of the case, Mr. Pasricha, that this is routine, that there's nothing suspicious about it?
Well, you see, having submitted a report to his seniors, and when she was expecting some action, perhaps, it would have been prudent had she, avoided the TV.
Okay.
But I must also admit one thing, that whatever I heard on any channel, she was very discreet and dignified while interacting with the TV. She did not disclose the facts and all that, but perhaps it could have been avoidable.
Okay.
Similarly, the government also, I think, showed unnecessary haste, especially when the entire matter is so explosive and is being discussed all over the country. Perhaps the timing is faulty. They could have also, avoided it. So this is how I look at the whole thing.
No, so my question then is, fair enough, and we do have responses of, the officer D Roopa to the press, to our reporter tonight, where she talks about what happened when she spoke to the press. But my question is, if the government reacted, like you said, because she went to the press, is it fair for them to now call it a routine transfer? There's something wrong there then, Mr. Pasricha.
No, I don't think it's a routine transfer.
You don't believe it's a routine
On that, I am very clear.
Right.
Because I think they have taken cognizance that why she went to the TV when she had submitted her report. She could have waited for the senior officers to conduct an inquiry, especially when they had promised it. So on that, I think it has been done because it's a breach of the conduct rules, as NV says in the All India Service Conduct Rules.
Mr. Pasricha, do you believe that this sends a negative message to any honest police officer in the state right now, thinking, if I submit a report now, I need to be a little careful?
Well, Mr. D'Souza, I must tell you two things. Transfer is the prerogative of the government. And we have to accept. I have also had 38 years in the IPS.
Yes.
So even when I was police commissioner Bombay, I was removed. So these things do happen, and one has to take them in its stride. However, the posting which she has got is a fairly decent posting, traffic and road safety, where she can really contribute, especially when she's an honest officer. That means she can do it. On that, there are no two opinions. But I think both ways I'll be uncomfortable with both of them. Government should not have, done it in haste. They could have waited for a few more days till the inquiry was complete. And she should have also not gone on the channel when it's a breach of the conduct rules, especially when the inquiry is being conducted.
Sujay Kantawala, look at this case right now of this officer who's being shunted to traffic and road safety, and as far away from prisons where 2 crore rupee bribes are being paid. Who are they protecting?
So instead of investigating very fast about this 2 crore figure, the CM has got involved in this kind of thing, which again shows a very suspicious conduct, because this order completely is arbitrary, based on extraneous reasons, and sends a very, very wrong message to honest officers like Rupa. And we saw that with Mr. Khemka also, where he exposed the Vadra land deals and etc. But let me tell you this. So you transfer the officer within the city. So you're sending a clear message to the officer that, look, I can kick you around the way I want.
Like a football, yes.
Yeah, you're like a football. You're in the city, but still you're away. So I'm going to keep this eye on you because I'm going to post you in the city. But I am not answerable to anyone. I'm the chief minister. I can do what I want. And really, honesty is not the best policy as far as I'm concerned. I am concerned with my own agenda. And that is to see that any sort, and then because why she came on TV, to what Mr. Pasricha just said, this honest officer realized that the media had to be informed. This was like an anticipatory bail which she had taken because she was expecting draconian action. So with a very tempered and dignified way, she spoke to the media, which hats off to her strategy. And this was a matter of self-protection, because living in this daldal, this gutter that she is operating with these politicians, that she had to do something, because she is not going to give her honesty away at any cost.
But if we see the reaction of the government in this particular case, I'm not surprised she was worried and she felt the need to go to the press. Let's consider this. If she had not gone to the press, if the press had not found out about this report, she would have been transferred. None of us would have known. This story would have not come out. The 2 crore rupees would continue to find its way into the pockets of the people who were receiving it. The people who were receiving special treatment in jail would have continued to receive special treatment in jail. We would have received none of this information, would not have come out into the open. So on some level, she sacrificed herself.
Exactly.
And she sacrificed her position so that we would find out the truth. This is, at the end of the day, corruption versus the truth. And the Chief Minister should really be honest about the fact. And if he's serious about cracking down, he should crack down. Show us an action. Stop giving us lip service. Let me just check and see if we have Mr. Shankar Biradri. Shankar Aure, thank you for joining us. Good evening. He was the former DGP Karnataka. How are you reading into this transfer? Do you believe that it was normal and administrative, or do you think that here we have an honest, heroic police officer who is being punished by the state government?
See, in this regard, DIG of the Prisons Department had given a report to the DGP. It contained certain irregularities that were taking place in the prison to the extent of 8 points. 9th point was that she told that she had written in the report that there was a talk of 2 crores rupees changing hands to give certain facilities to one of the VIP convicts. Government took it seriously. They ordered an inquiry by a very respected, honest and senior officer of the government of India by name Mr. Vinay Kumar. He is known for his probity. He is a very good officer who enjoys very good reputation and is also known to be a competent officer. Now he has started the inquiry today. Imagine if any of these 2 officers are continued, if both the officers were continued, he would not have been able to conduct a proper inquiry because both the officers would have influenced the subordinate staff and the prisoners according to their requirements. Even if one officer was transferred also, other officer would have influenced the subordinate officers of the prison department as well as the prisoners according to his requirements. Now the government had no choice. The government was required to give a free hand to the inquiry officer and had to conduct an atmosphere where you will be able to conduct the inquiry in a free and frank manner and in a transparent manner. So they have transferred both the officers. I do understand the agony and pain of the individual officers. Sri Satyanarayan Rao, DG, was due to retire within 13 days. He has been transferred without a posting. And this lady who was DIG has been transferred within 20 days of taking charge. But public interest is paramount. And government has got that prerogative. And it has got the responsibility of ensuring that the investigation or inquiry that will be conducted by Mr. Vinay Kumar will be fair and without any obstruction and will not be vitiated on account of the presence of these 2 officers. Therefore, it has transferred and the transferred officers have not been posted to Mizoram or Nagaland or Sikkim. They have posted just 100 yards away.
This gentleman...
And if after 1 month of inquiry, if they are found not guilty, they can always
the former DGP Karnataka's contempt for Rupa seems to be very clear because he referred to the gentleman with his name. But as far as when the reference came to her, he said, this lady has been transferred. And let me tell you this, the politician over here representing the party ahead clearly said again and again that she is honest. She has integrity. Then where is the question of transfer? If you are given a character certificate of being honest and having integrity, why do you transfer? That's it. That is the matter.
My question here, and I'll take this question to Mr. Pasricha, is, so in that case, every time someone submits a report, that person should be transferred.
Both the officers have served under me. I have got equal love and affection for them and equal regard for them. But you should think of the need of the government.
Mr. Biradri, my question to you
is transparent.
Mr. Bidri, my question to you is this. In this case, then, every time an officer submits a report, that officer needs to be transferred. Because you're saying that report cannot be investigated with the officer present at her current posting.
It is not a question. It is not a question like that. These 2 are the senior most officers of the prison department. Now they are at loggerheads. If one officer is transferred and the other is left behind, tomorrow the other officer will take the ground that because the other officer was present on duty, he or she influenced the subordinate officers. Therefore, the inquiry is initiated. Only 1 month.
How can you presume this?
Events are not going to fall in 1 month.
Okay, one second. Mr. Pasricha, retired Director General of Police Maharashtra, do you buy this argument?
It is the government responsible for the state of affairs.
Mr. Pasricha, do you buy this argument?
It is the government which is responsible for the state of affairs.
Well, since she is known to be an officer of impeccable integrity, and which everybody is admitting, even the government understands, that means if you feel that she has given...
About the integrity of officers of Karnataka cadre?
He is the former DGP of Maharashtra. Unless Shankar Aure, you have a problem with the integrity of D Roopa, then you should just come forward and say so. Do you doubt her integrity? Is it not true she won the President's Medal for Meritorious Service last year?
No, I think it is not always necessary that the person who makes a complaint must be transferred. If you are very sure of somebody's integrity and that too evidence she has sent, I don't think it was necessary. It was untimely. It was hasty to do so because it sends a very wrong signal across and it does discourage. But I have already said in the beginning that the officer defaulted to the extent that she could have perhaps, avoided the TV because she had sent a report, and that too to her officers, that she should have waited for that.
We have a response on that, but I first want to bring in, I want to bring in Dr. Ijaz Ilmi, who's been listening very patiently, as well as Ramakant Gaur. Dr. Ilmi, thank you for listening patiently so far. This is typically an incident of honesty being crushed by corruption. I don't see any other way around it. If it was routine, then the state government should have just come out and said so. But there are too many different stories popping up. There's too much conflict. Dr. Ilmi.
I need to get some time on this. I've heard all the panelists make very interesting points. What Mr. Pasricha said obviously has a lot of value. But what is interesting is the DGP, ex-DGP of Karnataka, Shankar Bidri, saying that the public interest is paramount. As of tonight, with the DIG of the most important central jail in Karnataka, does not have a DIG, doesn't have a DG. Where is the public interest and where is it paramount? How can a jail function without the topmost officers? You transfer somebody without replacements. Is that routine? Is that something that is regular? It's highly irregular. So let's get that clear. And we're all talking about her going to the media. Why did an honest, self-respecting lady, an officer, go to the media in the first place? Because when she made those allegations and charges and gave it to the DG, the ADG was brought in the picture to speak against her and vilify her in the media. Being a self-respecting lady and an officer, and a very strong officer at that, she came out to defend herself in the same platform that was used to vilify in the media. She chose the media. And then after that, facing what the Chief Minister said 2 days ago, that it's highly irregular, and it is known to everybody that he was about to sack her, and he did that. So if there's public interest involved, why is the Chief Minister, who's the Home Minister, not posted somebody as the DG and DIG? Is the central jail not important enough to post officers when you replace these officers? Secondly, let's understand it very, very clearly. Routine transfers are where about 30, 40, 100, 200 officers are transferred and replaced from one place to another, not specifically on this issue. So if there was and what about the allegations? You're talking about Mr. Vinay Kumar being very respectful. He must be. But the entire inquiry is prejudged by the very act that you announce the punishment, and you've actually vilified and sacrificed an honest officer. And now, if the inquiry had to take place, what about a retired judge of the Karnataka High Court? Why an officer who owes allegiance to the government itself? So these things are very, very important. Something like this has to be fought, because it's not the first case. We've seen the anti-women attitude of the Karnataka government led by Mr. Siddaramaiah. We've seen what happened to Shikha. We've seen what happened to Ms. Shinde. We've seen what happened to Rashmi. So there are 5 different officers in different departments who faced the wrath of Karnataka Congress politicians. If they did not want to toe the line, they were sacrificed. They were ejected, they were removed, they were transferred. So there's a pattern to this whole thing, and which is why the BJP is protesting very loudly that you cannot subject honest, self-respecting officers, women officers, to something like this and hang them.
Let me bring in Ramakant Kaur.
In such a manner by saying you're transferred.
You know, Ramakant Kaur, my problem with this fundamentally is that none of these stories are adding up. We have right now Shankar Bidri, the former DGP, who's saying that because an investigation needed to be done, they needed to be transferred. The Chief Minister turns around and says, this is administrative, I don't have to explain it to the press. I've got news for the Karnataka government. You have to explain it to the people. The people are asking, and the press is just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. People want to know why this officer was transferred. Of course you have to explain it to the press. That is your job. So he's not explaining it to us. If it's routine, then this should have already been in the works. Or is it because of the investigation? Or is it because she got in the way? The Karnataka government seems to be at a lack right now for simply providing answers for their actions. Ramakant Gaur.
We are missing a basic context. The first point of the report filed by this DIG is providing amenities to a convict who is convicted in a corruption case. So it's not a rocket science to find out whether she was given some amenities or not. So it does not need 30 days to inquire into it. So this is the basic issue which needs to be looked into from where this has arisen. There might be some political compulsions, but as far as the complaint or the report filed by DIG is concerned, if you remove the DIG, how would she prove her point? How would you take the witnesses? Some of the witnesses were these inmates who were transferred overnight. So you are actually transferring the witnesses who were the inmates of the jail. You are transferring the person who has made the report against the corruption prevalent in the jail. Well said. So we are basically, what we are doing, we are actually saving the corruption. The corrupt practices are being saved at the top level, and then Chief Minister names this transfer as the transfer being done in the routine manner. I mean, this is not routine. If this is the routine, you are violating the constitution of the country. You are talking about some administrative rule, you are talking about administrative law, but you are actually violating the basic concept, the right of equality of inmates, and you are rendering certain special facilities, maybe against some bribe or not. But as a matter of fact, there have been certain reports about certain amenities being rendered to Sasikala. If these are true, only on this count, DGP must be punished. So I don't know the bureaucratic language what my other learned panelists have placed forward. There might be certain issues about certain things to connect with the media that might be might be something
one second, Mr. Gaur, 1 second, and we now have this ready, and I want our panelists to all listen to it, because there's been a fair amount of talk about the fact that she spoke to the media. We had one of our reporters in Bangalore speak with the officer D Roopa today and ask her about why she spoke to the media. This is what she said in response. I'm going to play it out for all of you. Listen in.
At this point, you're facing a lot of backlash. People are saying you came out to the media. Why you didn't have to do that? You had to probably go to the senior officials, follow protocol. What do you have to say regarding this, ma'am?
No, I didn't speak to the media. I was not the first one to speak to the media. And I think Honorable CM has already by now told that there would be an inquiry, perhaps. I'm not sure. I welcome any inquiry if there's any leakage to media, from whose side it was leaked. That is also welcome. I cooperate fully, and from my side,
I take it as a positive because the inquiry has been ordered based on the report that you have submitted.
Yes, and when I came to the office for the first time, I didn't react to the media. And I think you all first went to DG Prisons and took his bite, and he spoke for long at length, and he also spoke about the contents of the report. After that, you came to me, and I have only spoken about the peripheral issues, but the actual report contents I have not spoken, and therefore not violated any rules. And since the report was given by me, if I had not spoken even those 2 words which you asked me, you would construe it in a different manner. Because I have seen when one ex-chief secretary did not speak to media, you construed it as running away and hiding something. So I had to clarify, and because this report was given by me, and hence I clarified it, saying that yes, this is my report and I stick to it. And I have not spoken again anything in the report, and I have been very vocal about it. Even 10-15 times I've repeated the same thing. You ask any question, but I will not speak anything about the report. But if conduct rules applies to me, it applies to DG as well, and it applies to my juniors who are chief superintendents of Bangalore and Belgaum jail. For last 2 days they have been in Kannada channels speaking against me, saying that I'm new, I don't know rules and everything is fine and such things. Is it not a violation of conduct rules? So singling me out on this, on the media issue, I think is unfair, and I welcome that any inquiry into anything.
I'd like to ask you an important question. Yesterday the DG rubbished most of the parts of the report. He said these don't have any, it's not substantial at all. Today, certain videos that have come out, and it's out in the open for everyone to see, substantiates the report and very comprehensive.
What do I have to say on that? I don't. I mean, I do not know about what has come. Somebody said that there is something has come in Kannada channel. I do not know from where it has come, and I have not seen. And I do not want to. I mean, I don't want to. Again, this is like taking back to whatever I have mentioned in the report.
Yeah.
So yes, if it has come, it is like corroborating my report. It is. I mean, it substantiates it.
Well, that's the conversation there. I'm going to go back to Mr. Pasricha. You heard the officer. She was very candid. And she was also very clear, saying, I will not talk about what is in the report. I stand by the report. I've said it 15 times in the past, but I will not talk about what is in the report. She was very clear about her rules. You still think that she went to the press first?
No. See, there are 2 issues being discussed. One is going to the media. I have told in the beginning itself, the officer was very discreet and dignified. She did not reveal anything. Let me reiterate that point. On that count, I cannot find fault with her. Now, as regards the transfer, what happens is, it doesn't need any elaboration, but a lot of cartels are operating inside the prisons, not only in Karnataka, all over the country. And so what happens is, when you transfer an honest officer who has complained against the system, then, a lot of pro-cartel forces can see to it that most of the witnesses who had given evidence before the DIG, Ms. Rupa, they may turn hostile.
So this was a cover-up. This was a cover-up.
That will be an issue also we have to keep in mind. So on these 2 things, I think we have to work without any prejudice. The inquiry could have been conducted. If an honest officer continues, there's no harm.
Okay, Shankar Bidri, former DGP Karnataka. You heard the officer speak, Mr. Bidri. Do you? All right. We seem to have lost that connection. Now I'm going to open this up, because we played out the officer's views as well. Sujay, this looks like a cover-up to me, and a cover-up somehow that the Karnataka government seems to be condoning or is part of.
In fact, my respect for Rupa after this bite that you played has actually increased, because she shows her helplessness. She's showing that she has been singled out. She has been shunted out. There is a lobby working against her. One has given an opinion. 2 of her juniors have given opinions. They have given bites on TV, and in fact, they have given out contents of the report. She has maintained her dignity, and she says, even after all this, I respect the CM. If he wants to conduct an inquiry, I am open to any inquiry.
Yes.
But why have I been singled out? And if conduct rules are to be applied, Article 14, staring at us, equality of the law. So, if that is happening, then why not them?
You know, she's also being very humble, Sujay, and I want to bring up the section, 11, where, the whistleblowers protection. Ramakant Gaur, is it available to her specifically? She is a whistleblower. She technically qualifies as a public servant who's blown the whistle.
See, she may be a whistleblower, but as a responsible IPS officer, she does not need that protection. She is competent in her capacity to make that report. She made that report. But my concern herein is that the person who created this report is transferred. The witnesses who could have been the vital clues which could have led into the sinews of the crime have been shifted out. What would be available to the inquiry committee? So inquiry officer would be having no witnesses, would be having no complainant. So that is his problem. And everything, see, I have seen the 9 points of the report which were published in Indian Express and Times. So all these points can be covered overnight. There is no such point which cannot be covered. So if inquiry officer finds that there is no amenity to Sasikala, if there is no inmates available into the doctor's room, or some other convicts are getting some more privileged facilities, this inquiry report would be sham. So there would be no proper inquiry in this case because there is no witness. The evidence can be, finished overnight.
Yes.
That's my concern.
Exactly.
I just want to ask my producer, do we have Mr. Shankar Bidri still with us? Mr. Bidri, if you can hear me, doesn't this now seem like a cover-up, Mr. Bidri? We heard what she said. She said that the DG prisons had spoken to the media first. She said she's being singled out.
I will
Go ahead,
tell you.
Go ahead, sir.
It is the responsibility of the government to give fair, proper and honest administration and efficient administration and ensure that the prison code is enforced properly. In this government, the failure of the officers is the failure of the government. The government has to bear responsibility for that failure. Now let the inquiry report come. Then we can say.
But how will you trust the inquiry report?
I hold the government responsible.
But tell me something, Mr. Bidri. Is it not true that 32 prisoners were shifted out overnight in the middle of the night from this prison?
See,
is that not true?
On the basis of some media report, we cannot come to the conclusion. Even if they have been shifted, also the inquiry officer can go record their statement. But the question is, it is not a question of individual officers, it is a question of government. Government has failed to run the prison administration properly. Government has to take the responsibility for that. If an officer was wanting, they had their intelligence.
These may be very good words, but reality is something different.
They would have acted.
No. I'm going to ask Nagaraj Yadav, representing the government of Karnataka. The government of Karnataka is responsible, Nagaraj Yadav. The government of Karnataka is responsible. And now there are sister channel Times now has a video of the kind of luxury that Sasikala was enjoying inside of jail. It has been proven. One will only expect that the report should prove the same thing.
Let it be produced before the inquiry officer. Nothing wrong in it. Let it be produced before the inquiry officer.
Fair enough, Mr. Bidri. Fair enough, Mr. Bidri. Nagaraj Yadav, right now the Karnataka government needs to come clean and needs to show us exactly what is happening inside of this jail. How long will it take before this inquiry is out? Please tell me.
To single out officers is not correct.
So you victimize, the junior officers.
Let me tell you
this is all correct. This is what you are saying.
Nagaraj Yadav, go ahead. Nagaraj Yadav,
hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Madam, see, I was hearing to all the panelists now what they are talking. The government is very, very serious about allegations made by D Roopa. D Roopa has made an allegation against a senior officer whom she was working under. saying that 2 crore rupees have been given a bribe for giving facilities to Sasikala. The government of Karnataka has taken a serious note of this and acted immediately to transfer these 2 people to get out the truth. Not only because because allegation is made against the senior officer. Mr. HNS Rao also has been transferred, and also Rupa has been transferred. A senior officer, Vinay Kumar, is been appointed as an inquiry officer to expose the truth and get out the truth.
Fair enough. Nagaraj Yadav, no. You've already said that. I want to know how long before this truth is exposed by the senior officer. When can we expect the report?
Can I come in, please?
When can we
expect? By the junior officer to the senior officer.
When can we expect the report?
Irregularities happened there. All are responsible who have been working in the jail there will be responsible for this, and government cannot have a blind eye towards this and say whatever the allegation is made and we look at it and inquire.
Sir, what was your CID doing? What was your CID doing when it was happening?
Mr. Nagaraj Yadav, how long will the inquiry
take? D Roopa is an honest officer.
Can I come in?
Posted in Bengaluru itself. Not that she's
Nagaraj Yadav, you're not answering my question. How long will the inquiry take?
She's there with us. She's an honest officer. We have no problem with that.
You moved her out of the jail. You've moved her out of the way of the 2 crore rupee bribe.
And the duty of the government to act. If the government acts, people condemn it. If the government doesn't act, people say that government is supporting the corrupt people.
When will the inquiry be ready? When will the inquiry be done? When will the report be ready?
The government has acted to remove Rupa, who made the accusation in the first place.
I can't hear you properly. There is a problem with the audio also.
No, I'll ask the question again and I'll ask it clearly. Nagaraj Yadav, Nagaraj Yadav, when will the inquiry be done? When will the report be ready? When will the report be released to the press?
The audio is not all right. I can't hear you, madam.
That is very convenient. Okay, I'm just going to ask my audio team to increase my audio to Mr. Nagaraj Yadav. Here's my question again.
Can I come in, please?
When will the inquiry be done? When will the report be submitted? And when will it be released to the press, Mr. Nagaraj Yadav?
And with the witnesses brought back for inquiry.
Hello.
Mr. Nagaraj Yadav, can you
Suddenly
hear me?
Mr. Yadav has turned deaf.
He doesn't want to answer you now.
I can't hear a voice.
You can't hear my voice.
Mr. Yadav doesn't want to answer you.
Yeah, ask them to make me all right.
Okay, I'm being told by my team that my audio to Mr. Nagaraj Yadav is full and we cannot be increased anymore for fear of injuring his hearing. Mr. Nagaraj Yadav, I'm going to ask you one more time before I move the rest of the panelists. When will this proactive inquiry conducted by the government of Karnataka, ordered by the government of Karnataka, when will the inquiry be done? When will the report be ready? And when will it be released to the press and the public?
Very voice, though. What sort of voice? It's so disturbing.
Absolutely. What is disturbing are the events in Karnataka rather than the voice.
Okay, I'm not sure if the voice is disturbing or the question in this particular case is disturbing. HR Selmi, go ahead.
Well, it's very clear after you played Ms. D Roopa's soundbite. Like I said earlier, it's been a systematic plan to perpetuate and protect the corrupt practices for convict Sasikala that was happening in this important central jail. So the game plan was to obviously make the ADGP of the prison make allegations on the accuser who made the allegations, Ms. D Roopa, then get other officers from other states, other IPS officers in a very convenient manner to make allegations on Ms. D Roopa, violate the same laws, violate the protocols, and no action has been taken on them. And then when the media goes for her reaction to Rupa to say that Rupa went to media. So the media went to Ms. Rupa to get a reaction on what the ADG and what the other police officers said to her. And now she's been victimized and hung from a lamppost in a very convenient manner just to protect the Congress ideology of protecting the corrupt and corrupt practices, which is very evident to all of us. So it doesn't require rocket science that a systematic cover-up is happening, and there's no locus standi with there's no fig leaf to cover what Siddaramaiah has done. Like Lord Almighty, he's saying, I'm not answerable, it's administrative. But the evidence is very clearly before us that this is systematic vilification of an honest officer, and a self-respecting officer has come out in the open to protect herself. And we need to protect officers like that.
We need to protect officers like that. Kamaldeep Singh is on the phone line from Bangalore right now. Kamaldeep Singh, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Kamaldeep, you can hear me.
Madam, see, leave this politician, whoever it is, they talk the same language. Today Congress, tomorrow BJP, they will talk the same language, what they are talking. Let us leave these people. But what is happening with jail, what Madam Rupa, otherwise Mr. Shankar Birdi sir was very polite for this madam. But today's words are totally changed. I don't know what is the reason behind that. Today he's calling it lady. He doesn't call his name. She can't. Rupa, who's known full of India, he doesn't take her name. He's saying lady. So this is the respect he's having. 2 days back he was talking very nicely for Rupa. Today he's talking this way. And this, what is happening in jail, everywhere happening. And everybody knows what is happening. Rupa has got brought in. All over India is happening. I'm sorry that this Congress or BJP, they will fighting in the sitting here channel. They both will be doing the same. Any party, they will do the same. Only a request, Mr. Ramanathan was telling that these people or the all 9 points, so they use it clean. They have not cleaned. Their government not be clean. They have cleaned the jail already. They cleaned it now, so nothing will be available tomorrow. And
So this is a cover up. The Rai Swami is on the phone line from Coimbatore. Mr. Swami, go ahead. Mr. Swami, can you hear me?
Good evening. Yes, I am able to hear.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. What would you like to say?
Yes, yes. See, leave alone the dust created about the media coverage, about the alleged money exchange or money given. The fact remains, there is something wrong, something has happened. But for Rupa's exposure, which is yet to be proved or otherwise, this fact would not have come to the light of the public at all. So first of all, we have to congratulate a lady officer, a responsible officer, for having brought this, what is happening into a jail. She is not an ordinary convict. She is a convict with various ramifications with political overtones.
Yes, absolutely. So very well said, very well said. And I just want to quickly get a voice in from all of our panelists. So Jay, this is at the end of the day just a massive cover-up right now. And the government needs to own up to what it's doing.
No, but it is very clear. I mean, the government has decided its course of action. So there is no hope that the government is going to change. The CM feels he is Lord Almighty, and that is what we are faced with. So unless the High Court is approached by way of a PIL by an activist to strike down this transfer order and to expose this entire thing, there is no hope, because otherwise if everyone is together onto this, then they have already singled out Rupa, and the manner in which this former DGP has been talking on the TV clearly shows the deep-rooted bias against her, and a caucus and a group has formed. So unless the High Court intervenes, this entire inquiry, as Mr. Gaur also said earlier, my fellow colleague on the panel, that this inquiry is going to result in a sham report. Absolutely. And everything is going to be whitewashed. So what? Justice is going to be completely denied, and this is going to be the saddest day. So High Court has to intervene. That's the last bastion of hope for the people of Karnataka now. Right.
You know, Ramakant Kaur, for someone who's paying 2 crore rupees as bribes right now, how difficult is it for that person to make the evidence go away?
See, those 2 crore rupees are only talks. Nobody would have the trail of that. So it is all cash. So once it has changed hands, it has changed hands. So there may be some smack of or suspicion about the bribery, but that would emanate only from the inquiry about the amenities or special facilities to Sasikala or other inmates. So that needs to be looked into first, and then somebody would look into the cash trail and other things. But that is not easily traceable now.
Right. You know, I want to. I'm sure I saw Dr. Ijazami raise his hand. I want to ask you this: 2 crore rupees in cash. Dr. Ilmi, 6 months after demonetization, where is this cash coming from? Isn't this why we stood in line at the ATM for so many hours? Isn't this why we lost 100 people, so that people wouldn't be paying 2 crore rupees in cash as bribes in our country? Why is it still happening?
Well, the people who indulge in corrupt practices, and we've seen this also in the Sukesh case in Delhi, where Sasikala's nephew, Mr. TTV Dinakaran, there were allegations of paying 10 crores in cash. So obviously there are Hawala operators still working, and which is why my earlier panelist was talking about that there's no trail. I mean, trust the DRI and the income tax and the ED. They are well equipped to follow certain leads and look into such matters. It's a large sum that has been alleged. I think the central agencies must move in. And some people have suggested this to the government. We hope that the money trail can be deciphered, can be followed, and justice will be done. That is the only way to do it, to teach Mr. Lord Almighty, Mr. Siddaramaiah, that you can't whitewash, you can't systematically vilify an honest officer, and there are people who understand that this needs to be fought. The ideology of corruption has to be fought.
Here's the amusement thing. When my senior citizen parents go to the ATM in Bangalore to withdraw cash, there's no cash available in the ATM, but someone has 2 crore rupees in cash to pay for services in jail. Nagaraj Yadav, I'm told by my team, can now hear me. Nagaraj Yadav, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my question.
I can hear you now.
Yes. Here's my question, Mr. Nagaraj Yadav. When will the inquiry be done? When will the report be ready? And when will the report be released to the press and the public?
Yeah, it is very, very clear. The government of Karnataka has made it very clear. The Chief Minister and the Home Minister of Karnataka, Mr. Siddaramaiah, has made it clear while appointing a single-man commission to inquire this particular episode. He has been ordered to give a report within 30 days' time. Within weeks' time, an interim report will be given. Definitely a fair investigation will be done. The guilty will be punished, and guilty will not be tolerated at any cost. The transfer of Rupa Madam should not be given any color to it, saying that it is just because she was honest and she was truth enough, it has been transferred. We appreciate her honesty, and a report the government has considered it very seriously, and we'll see that the truth is out, and we'll go to the bottom of the truth and see that the guilty is punished.
Right. If the report if the report in 30 days time confirms that DIG D Roopa was correct in her submission, will she be reinstated in prisons?
Why only in the prison? She can be in a better places. Why only prison? If she is so honest, she can serve the people of Karnataka anywhere. 6.5 crore Karnataka are there.
So you leave her at
what
does this have to do with
many more secrets of the prison will come out. If D Roopa comes back into the prison, many more secrets will come out.
No, I understand this question is upsetting for you, Nagaraj Yadav. Will she be reinstated? It was a very simple question, Nagaraj Yadav. If your inquiry proves that she was right all along, that her submission, her 4-page report was right, will she be reinstated as DIG prisons?
Why? See, whether her report is good, we will take an action on it. It is not the question of reply. The way you are asking me, the way you're asking me as if she's transferred on a punishment basis. It is not that way. She's not transferred on a punishment basis. She's not transferred because she's given a report. She's been transferred because she's required in Bangalore on a traffic section.
It's nothing else.
Mr. Nagaraja, she is not punished, but she is victimized.
For traffic in Bangalore.
It is victimization. It is not punishment only.
I've unfortunately run out of time and run out of ways in which I can ask the same question over and over again. While we wrap this up, it is true that the stories are not adding up. The dots are not joining. The fact that we're still receiving so many, I mean, even now, Mr. Nagaraj Yadav says this is routine. She was meant to go into traffic. Why was she being transferred so quickly after taking up the post? Was she kept in that post only to be transferred into traffic? Why wasn't she sent to traffic at all? If you're talking about a police officer who received the President's Medal, is the traffic room the ideal space for this police officer? Do you really think she's being best utilized? And if we are to believe Mr. Shankar Bedri, the former DGP Karnataka, that she's being transferred in order to facilitate an investigation, then she should be reinstated as soon as the investigation is over. Also, the report must be released to the press so that we can all see how quickly you made evidence disappear by shifting all of the witnesses and by removing the cop who placed her, who placed her report in, and as she has told us on camera, by getting all of her subordinates to go on to the local regional Kannada channels and bad-mouth her. This just seems like the rot is so deep that the 2 crore rupees is possibly a much higher number, and it is lining the pockets of a lot of very, very powerful people. Honesty is losing out, and if the Karnataka government really is looking at an election year next year, they would be best served to do the right thing in this case, to make a quick investigation and reinstate this honest officer into her position after that investigation is done. That is the only way you can prove to us that you really mean business about corruption. Thanks for watching.